I am actually pretty genuinely shocked about this news. Now, nothing has been confirmed 100%, but there is a possibility that Saraya could be leaving AEW. Now, there was a report that came out from Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful Select that indicates Saraya's contract is due to expire in September, and there's always a possibility that she could be re-signed, or there could be an option that's extending her contract for another year. But at this time, there has been no new deal between the two. And quite honestly, I'm kind of shocked by that. But I want to talk a little bit about this because I feel like maybe this isn't being discussed enough, but this is one of those examples where AEW signed Saraya and nothing came from it. Now, Saraya came into the company and she won the World Championship in the women's division at Wembley Stadium last year. And that is by far the only memorable moment that I can recall that she's had in the company since being in the company. Because not long after she won, she actually dropped the belt. Now, what's really interesting about Saraya going to AEW was that there was a lot of talk about how this would be a massive change for the women's division. That wasn't the case. There was a lot of talk about Saraya bringing growth to AEW. That wasn't the case. There was a lot of talk about Saraya being a game changer for AEW. And truth be told, I don't believe that was the case. I'm a huge fan of Saraya. I think she's incredibly talented. I think there is a lot of room for her in AEW. But for some reason, AEW, in my opinion, didn't necessarily utilize her correctly. We saw her paired up with Ruby Soho and Harley Cameron. Nothing really came from that. We saw Saraya in AEW, and I felt like her booking was actually pretty lackluster. I don't feel like she came into the company as a game changer. I don't think she was actually presented as such. It was a weird situation. It feels weird for me to call her the worst signing ever. But yeah, I'm starting to lean towards that. Look, here's the thing, guys. With AEW, Saraya could technically re-sign. But if she re-signs with AEW, I'm wondering why. For both sides. I'm wondering why AEW would want to utilize her, or why they would want to sign her if they're not really utilizing her. And then I would wonder why she would want to stay with AEW when she's hardly ever utilized. Now, granted, maybe there's good money in her contract. I don't know. I don't want to speak for that, and nor do I really care. If somebody signs a big contract because they're only in it for the money, that's their job. I don't hate on that at all. But when it comes to actually being cleared for in-ring action, it does seem a little bit weird to me that she isn't utilized the way she should be. And to be honest with you, I don't even know if WWE would utilize her correctly. That's the thing that's weird about this entirely, is I don't even know if she went to WWE, would it be a big deal? Some people leave WWE and go to AEW and they're not booked well. They're not presented well. But there's something in particular that is strange about Saraya going to AEW. A lot of talk about it being positive, and then nothing really came from it. I don't know if this is a situation where maybe AEW just didn't book her well. I don't know if there's a whole bunch of stuff that happened on the back end of things that we are not privy to, which may have impacted her run. I'm not sure what the health risk is for Saraya, and maybe that's why AEW kind of didn't do much with her. But Saraya being in AEW ultimately led to Zach Knight coming to Ring of Honor / AEW. I wasn't too familiar with his work. I thought some of the stuff that I saw him do on AEW was pretty freaking sick. So there is some good that came from it. But it seems like when Paige, or Saraya, when she came into AEW, it was at a time where women's wrestling wasn't that big of a focus. And the fact that the women's division didn't get to new heights at that time is interesting, because now if you look at the timing of things, you got Mercedes and Britt and Camille, you got Deanna and Thunder Rosa, you have Shida. I mean, you have a lot of things happening in the women's division currently as it stands, where maybe Saraya just came into the company at the wrong place, wrong time type of thing. I don't know. But now it just seems like the booking and the focus on the women's division has been elevated so much that I really don't know what would be the purpose of her staying in AEW would be. Unless Tony Khan has plans for her to immediately be implemented into some of those plans. But then I kind of wonder why haven't they done it thus far? So the fact that Saraya could be leaving AEW is a very intriguing topic to me. And the sad thing is, I don't know if going to WWE is even a solution. Because you just have so much going on in WWE already as it is. By bringing in Saraya, then somebody else loses TV time. And I've seen people fantasy book the idea of Saraya going to WWE and then being part of the Judgment Day or something like that, and maybe just being more of like a mouthpiece, maybe not getting as much of like the singles matches, you know, maybe WWE kind of just treating her like a special act versus being like a full-time active wrestler. I don't know. I've seen people talk about that, and it's just tough. Like, I think they're like, this is a weird situation. I think she signed to AEW at the wrong time. I really do. Because the time that she joined AEW, women's wrestling was not that big of a focus. It wasn't. And a lot of respect should go to AEW for giving her that win at Wembley, because that was such a beautiful moment. But then it's just like everything that came after that, it's been essentially pointless. She's not even booked for AEW All In this year. So maybe she'll appear on the kickoff show, or maybe she'll appear in some capacity on the show. But to me, this is just such a weird, outlandish thing. And I just think mutually for both parties, it doesn't make sense to stay together. And I don't know if Saraya would ever want to go to TNA. I don't know if she would ever want to do something in NXT, or maybe become a coach in WWE or something like that, or an agent. I don't know. But I really can't see WWE benefiting from her being a full-time athlete on the main roster. And I really can't see AEW benefiting from it. And to be honest with you, I don't even see her benefiting from it. And it just sucks, because obviously she had the injury that took her away for so long. So I think people were genuinely excited about her coming back, and then it obviously just didn't pan out. But yeah, whether she stays, whether she goes, I don't know. We'll see. And I'll keep you guys updated. But if she leaves AEW, I wouldn't necessarily be shocked. And if Tony Khan doesn't re-sign her, to be honest with you guys, I wouldn't be shocked. And it's such a weird thing to say about somebody who is so talented. But it just goes to show you that you do have to be very careful with how you craft your roster, because you're going to have a lot of talented people, and some of those people may not get a job. They might not get TV time. It's weird. Let me know what you guys think down below.